Hey, hey, my creative friends. It is time to talk creativity tonight, or today, whatever it happens to be for you. We talk about creative ideas. We talk about how to fit creativity into our family life. We try to make mind shifts so that it makes it easier for us to be creative. Just creativity in general. So today, and this is what we're going to talk about a little bit. Today, hi Tricia. I met with my peer group that we just started. Bonnie Christine, I'm part of her Flourish group, and she's a surface pattern designer that teaches people how to develop patterns, enter that industry. And so she has classes, she has Skillshare classes, she has, and then she has a membership group. So I'm part of the membership group, and what she's done is she's just recently put us into peer groups. And today was my first meeting with my creative peer group, and which is interesting because, well, first off, let me read why. I will read a quote and then it'll tell you why I joined the group. Okay, this is from Creative Colleen Chase Jarvis. He said in response to when should you join a group, he said the acid test is this: if you're walking the path but getting nowhere, go find communities of humans who are passionate about the same things you are and get involved. So I really liked that little litmus test. If you're on the path and you're going nowhere, you need something. And what better something, especially if you're a solopreneur, especially if you're a mom that has limited outside time to be outside your family, to be able to get with other people who are like-minded doing the same sorts of things. This is different. A peer group is different than a mastermind group. A peer group is people who are kind of the same place you are. And so if you aren't getting anywhere, which today, when we were talking in our group, and I don't want to break any confidences in our group, I'm just going to kind of talk generalities about our group. We were some of us are kind of stuck, I would say, in some areas. And so I think that's a good way to look at it. If you're feeling kind of stuck, find or make a peer group. And making a peer group is great. Another story is that at one point I was just feeling a need to, for the reasons I'm going to share tonight, to be in a business peer group. Wade, hi Wade. I needed to be, I made up a peer group of business women I knew, some friends, and we would get together every month. And anyways, it was great. It was great. And, my son, he calls me Shanquisha, among other things like that. He says, hey, Shanquisha. Okay, so I joined a peer group previously, so that's where I'm getting some of my ideas because I find them beneficial. So that's the when you join a peer group. That's a good kind of general question. Am I stuck? Am I stuck on the path that I'm going? That would be a great time to join a peer group. So the next thing is talks about peer groups and talks about the idea that we're social animals. We need each other. We need to be around people. And the quote is from the same book, Creative Calling. It says, we desperately need to connect with others. And that is so true. And then he says, Tricia says, you're a social animal. That's funny, Tricia. Okay, let me go back to the quote. We desperately need to connect with others. We become more fully ourselves when we are in a community of other creators. And I really, really liked that because what happens when you get in with another group and you start spending time with them and you start opening up with them, you can't bluff your way through. You cannot fool people who know what you do. At some, they sense it, they can call you on it, but I mean, and you're not really there to do that. You're not really there to posture and to show how good you are. You are there for different reasons. And so you become more fully yourself when you participate in a group. Because we show our cards. We tell each other things. We are open and honest. And so I really like that, where one of the reasons you want to join a group is because you become more fully yourself. Another reason is for strength and support. There's an energy and an excitement that comes from talking to people who are on the same path as you. Because I think one of it is that shows you that, this is possible, and that you're not alone in your struggles, that, oh, they're having the same sort of struggle, or they just had the struggle I had, so I can help. Or, oh, this is a struggle that's going to be coming my way. So it's sharing, but the energy you can get is so, it can put you on fire. You're with people who speak your language. You're with people who get the industry. It's like when I talk to my husband about fabric, because I have the fabric line, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He's supportive, but he doesn't know the industry. He doesn't, when I talk creativity to him, he gets it a little bit, but it's not like he lives and breathes it. So when you get with your peer group of the same kind of goals, you're gonna feel energized by your group, and you're gonna feel supported, and you're gonna feel that strength. Another thing is that connections. You will find connections, and I don't mean like slimy use people to get to other people. I'm talking about connections like in our peer group today, one of the gals talked about a couple different gals that she thought I might be interested in looking up to kind of connect with some of the things I'm doing. So she's connecting me with somebody else that has information or is doing something I'm doing. You can also, in our group today, we talked about some different books, some different conferences, some different, different things in the industry. And so those are the kinds of connections. It's kind of like at the level we're at when they're peers, when you have a peer group, you're most likely not going to get the connections that will get you the contract. You're going to get connections that will enhance your knowledge, enhance your skills. Another thing is feedback. Feedback is so important from people who know what they're doing. It's like not feedback from your aunt or your mother or somebody who loves you desperately and wants to be there and support you. And so they tell you, oh, it's great. It's different from a peer group. A peer group will use certain criteria of design principles, skills, and things that they've seen, trends, so that they will be able to say, that is so off-trend color-wise, or, they'll be able to give you that feedback. They'll give you a different perspective. They can also review some of your stuff to say, hey, you missed this, or yeah, that's terrific. They might also come up with solutions. If you're saying, I'm going to be launching this, I have this problem. And then they might be able to give you solutions from experience or from their knowledge base. So the feedback alone is invaluable. And especially because it's personalized. Because when you're in a group of peers, you don't have a 20-room group of people. You have a small group. The one I was in before was 5 or 6, and then this one is 4 of us. So there is time in the feedback to actually get into your personal projects. So it is great to have that feedback. Another thing is reciprocity, where you are mutually helping each other. It's hard for people, and it's hard to ask for help. But I always find that if I've given help or I'm going to give help, then it's easier to ask for help. It's also, you are helping to lead, and you're mutually learning back and forth. Their experience becomes your experience, and your experience becomes their experience. All of a sudden, that reciprocity between you and your group changes your creative DNA, and you have built up a whole different thread in you because of the people that you're meeting with and you are interacting with. And plus, part of reciprocity is that's a normal part of relationships. Like we talked about this in another video. It's a normal part of relationships to have that back and forth and that give and take and that help and be helped. Then we have accountability. So I would put the top two things that I have found are feedback and accountability. So accountability is in the group I was in, we always said, okay, I want to accomplish this. So it was self-imposed. Nobody was telling us to do something. It was self-imposed on the goals that we had. And you had to say, I'm going to do this by next month. And, it's like old-fashioned honor. It's like, I am going to keep my promise to my group. I don't want to be the speed bump in the group. I don't want to drag the group down, because what happens is if you don't come to the table ready and to engage with the group, you start to drag the group down. And I'm not saying once in a while things come up and you can't do it. That's not what I'm saying, because you will still be involved and there are legitimate reasons. But for the most part, you're going to be able to be accountable in the positive way, and by doing what you say you're going to do. That's a professional. And though I talk mostly about personal, so you can do this on a personal level where you're just getting together with friends and you're just talking about, your creative month that you had and how you're feeling about things and how it's helped you and how you're struggling. But you can also do it professionally. The group we just started today, we're all professionals, and so we're working toward professional goals. And so, these gals are my peers. That's the whole point of peer group. Those who, you look up to. I should have looked up the word peer. Anyways, people you look up to and you admire. So you don't want to be the one that doesn't show up, the one that doesn't come through. So let's see. Those are the 6 things I think really are benefits from joining a peer group. And I know there's others. So share with us some of the other things and benefits that you've seen when you've participated in one, or that you have felt yourself. So then, what to look for in a peer group. And if you already know people and your friends, that's great. I think that's the best way. I shouldn't say the best way, but that is a way. And it was really good in my business group to be able to do that. But you're looking for some people who are open. They have an openness about them. They're not going to stand back and be introverted and not be open with the group. Another thing is, this can go either way. They can be in the same industry. It's really nice that this group is in the same industry, because then we all speak the same language. But with my other group, we were focusing on business. So it was the theme of business, though we all had different businesses. So I don't think it has to be the same industry, but there has to be some connecting theme or industry. Then there is peers. We just talked about peers. Try to get peers. Try to get people who are ahead of you on the path, if possible. Do let in some people, you know, if it's a small group, which it should be, you know, have somebody that's not ahead of you, but try to have somebody that's ahead of you, but try to have a little bit of a mix in that. Hi, Rose. So peers, then look for signs of a healthy relationship or a healthy self-image, because somebody who's dealing with other family issues or other things are not going to be able to give the time and energy, which you wouldn't expect them to. You wouldn't expect people to, if they're going through some difficult things, you wouldn't expect them to put out in this way. Hi, Erica. So look for some signs of a healthy relationships, that they're in a good place, and you know, that's a judgment call. Then look at that character and creative alignment. People don't have to be the same as you, but like the group I was in today, they have a creative drive. I mean, I knew two of them before, and I already know they have creative drive. That's in their character, and they're creative. And the other one I just met today, like we met through email, but we just met in video chat today. And but she has a creative drive too. So that character drive aligns with mine. And so we are all not having to explain certain things because we already have that built into us. That's like one of the gals was talking about a book, and she was saying, oh, the first book was not quite where I was at. I already do those things, but the second book was really good. And so, and I thought the same exact thing, that, you know, the first book wasn't where I needed to be because I already had those things, but the second book was better for me. So it kind of aligned there. Now, you don't want everybody totally aligned where you're all thinking the same thing, but you do want some common alignment there. And so look for also people you want to be friends with. This is, if you don't remember any of the other things, look for that, because usually your gut tells you, oh man, I'd like to be friends with her. In fact, of the three other gals, two of those other gals I already followed before I knew they were in the Flourish group, before we became peers. Our peer group, way before. And so they're women I already thought, oh, these gals are great. They're doing some great things. I think, and those are the only things I put to look for a group, but I'm sure there are more. Positive, there are more. Just like I'm positive there are other benefits to this. And again, if you're not in a professional group, that's okay. You can still benefit from this idea of getting together with other women to have a group of creatives. Tricia says, this is the first thing to consider. Friends and mentors are where I would start. That is the first thing I would consider. Friends and mentors are where I would start. I think so too. It's easy because like when I did my business group, I was able to already know certain things. It was easy to ask certain people because I already knew the caliber of people they were. And so I already knew that they knew certain things by virtue of knowing the relationship. Yes. So the tip is to get in a creative, you don't have to call it a peer group, you can call it something fun, but get in a group of women who are doing the things you want to do, and do that. You'll find yourself, be fully yourself, you'll support and strengthen each other, you'll make connections, you'll get feedback, you'll have reciprocity, and you'll be accountable. Those things will help you on your creative journey. So you don't have to be a professional, but if you are a professional, then I definitely think you should be doing this. Just our first day meeting with mine this afternoon. Already, I mean, I took notes and I'm like, oh man, she's doing this, and I'm really interested in that. And somebody else is doing this thing, and oh, she's in the middle of doing what I'm gonna do in a few months. So already I'm so excited to hear what they have to say about things. And hopefully I will be able to reciprocate and give back. So, tips, find your group. Find a group, a creative group. All right. I think that's it for tonight. But remember, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it. And I will be back tomorrow so we can talk more about creativity. Share your ideas, like the video, and share it with friends too. You know, think of some friends even right now to go, oh, 3 friends. I want 3 friends. Approach them and say, hey, do you want to get together once a month and talk about creativity? Yeah, do it. Tell us how it works for you. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.